The reason why these people are taking their own life in a large part is because you put them in terrible situations with the opposite sex. So as far as the mental health thing, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. It is irresponsible for you to put a 18-year-old kid in Clovis, New Mexico. It is irresponsible. And I'm calling on the military for this. Stop building these bases in places where there are no women. You can look up the studies. The stats are pretty clear. Men do not commit suicide when they are in a happy relationship with the opposite sex.
Wow.
When you put them in horrible situations where they live in Altus, Oklahoma, where they live in Clovis, New Mexico, and I'm talking about the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering why there's a mental health issue. I will bet you that the suicide rate for people at Nellis is probably the lowest. Actually, the lowest will be Hickam. I will guarantee you nobody's taking their own life at Hickam Air Force Base.
Wow.
Not nobody, but Pearl Harbor, Hickam, you'll find that the suicide rate for some reason is lower, and the suicide rate for some reason when they're at in Altus Air Force Base is higher. Why is that? When you do this, you take a bunch of men at the prime of their testosterone, their peak testosterone levels, and you put them in a place where there's like 10 guys to every girl, and they're like being told what they can and cannot do, and then you're wondering why they're taking their own life.
Yeah.
Military, it's your fault.
Right.
Take care of these men. Part of taking care of a man when he's in his early 20s is he needs to be around and socialize with the opposite sex. If you don't understand how that fits into mental health, you're not paying attention, because the studies and the science support what I'm saying.
Wow.
Men are less depressed when they're around pretty girls on a regular basis. This is not earth-shattering science. So I don't know, I guarantee, look at the suicide rate for people at Los Angeles Air Force Base.
I'm actually dying to know. I'm going to look this up after the show. And
And you're going to probably find, wow, it's really, it's not that bad. It's funny. Andrews is not that bad. It's so crazy. Bowling Air Force Base, there's no suicide there. It's crazy.
Was it like
I'm not saying none. By the way, some people are going to get mad because they know someone who took their own life, whatever. But there's just a big difference between Columbus, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia. If you're at Dobbins Air Force Base, and that's my point is, give me something to do when I'm off work other than drink myself under the table and then get cheated on by my wife while I'm deployed. Give me something else to do.
Well, I mean, it's also going back to what we were just talking about a second ago, when they literally criminalize them having any kind of activity with women, where you've got commanders saying, okay, no talking to the local females. No, you can't have pictures of your wife. I mean, I literally got in trouble when I was over in Afghanistan because I had naked pictures of myself. And I got in trouble for having pictures of myself because I wanted to send them to a boyfriend of mine back home. And, it's just those types of things where they've got to stop making it a criminal activity to just be a human.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one. When you're deployed, I think you got to get used to, I don't know, jerking off in the shower, I guess. But when you're back home, I think it's so irresponsible that we build these military bases in the most podunk ass towns you can imagine, and then wonder why these gentlemen want to take their own life.
But there's not even any outlet for them sexually. Sex is such an essential part of who we are as humans, right? And then they make it a bad thing for you to be masturbating. Bad thing. Remember the saltpeter? They used to give saltpeter.
No, what is that?
You know what saltpeter is. Come on, saltpeter. They used to give it to people in World War II and World War I. It's literally to stop them getting erections.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I thought the saltpeter was for a treatment for some disease. Okay, got it.
They would it was standard issue. Take your saltpeter. It's to basically suppress no porn, no sex, no local girls, none of that. That's why the issue of sexual assault's going up in the military, because they can't get it anywhere else. So they're going to try to get it from the girls that are in the military next to them.
It's a dirty little secret, but no one would get into a debate with me about this because the numbers are going to favor what I'm saying. When you take young men and you put them in a place where there's just as many young women around them, you see less violence, you see less crime. Men who are married are less likely to be violent criminals. Men who are having sex on a regular basis are less likely to suffer from depression. If I can show you data that shows this, why did you build a base in Clovis, New Mexico? Why? I don't do you understand? That's my point. Why did you put one in Indian Springs, Nevada? Creech. Why did you put one 2 hours away from any kind of fun?
Yeah.
You did so because it was cheaper, because you could provide jobs to people in your state. But part of the thing is, from this point forward, this needs to stop. This taking young men and keeping them away from women for their entire professional lives there is just not a good recipe for mental health. And it's so funny because we're looking at every other solution except the most obvious one. Why did they take their own life? Because their wife cheated on them. Why did they marry this slag in the first place? Because they didn't have any other choice, because they were at No Hope Pope, or they were at Fort Bragg, and there was 70 guys to every girl, and this was the only woman that they wanted to hurry up and get married right before they took off so their wife could get benefits, and then the woman ends up cheating on them because they have no abundance in their life.
Right.
But again, everything I'm saying is undeniable, but yet you will not hear the military take me on in some kind of debate about this. They'll be like, because they won't admit the reason why these people are taking their own life in a large part is because you put them in terrible situations with the opposite sex. Community, I think sexual assault is underreported. I think especially in the military, when you have 6 guys to every girl, guys, don't be stupid. Obviously, these guys haven't seen a woman in a while. I will tell you this. There was this one lieutenant. She was intel, and she would give us our intel brief before we go fly over Afghanistan. And I remember thinking, why is this woman not a model? I was like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, because I'd been there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is this woman so beautiful? And then I bumped into her in McConnell, and I'm like, that is the most average looking chick I've ever seen in my life.
But
like,
it's so true. It's so true. But it's the same for girls. I mean, when I saw guys over there, we were there, it's UN, right? So you get the guys from Poland, Czech, Germans, French, you name it. So there's all these gorgeous looking men. I mean, imagine me. I was like, 21, 22 when I was over in Afghanistan. So I'm looking across the room and I see these guys in like full beards, huge, tatted, foreign nationals. I'm like dying there. Like these are the sexiest guys I've ever seen in my life, right? But then, there's also the average looking guys too, where they look 10 times better because there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's so weird what it does to you when you're there and you're like in an austere location of Afghanistan, but it's also Altus, Oklahoma. That's another austere location.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen a woman for like forever. It's very different. It also is another thing where I kind of like, one of the reasons I teach guys to have like a level of abundance is to have a ton of female friends so that you don't get put in that situation until every time you see a pretty girl, you start acting dumb. So that's one of the issues that's happening.
You are obviously an incredible instructor for Men of Action. What are some of the things you instruct your males in your course to do to kind of protect their mental health and set them up for success?
So for me, it's funny. So number one is gratitude. You live in a time where there's broad spectrum antibiotics. You can fly in a metal tube at 600 miles an hour, go anywhere in the world. You don't have to. If you wanted to go to South Africa, it's not a year's salary, right? It's not. It's expensive, but it's not that expensive, right? You can eat all the food you want. If you wanted to, right now, you could be on minimum wage and eat enough calories to kill yourself. Like, we live in a pretty good time. So gratitude is the first one. Also, the recognition that no one really gives a about you. They don't. You live in a country where a man a porn star when his wife was pregnant and we elected him president of the United States. You live in a country where a man transitioned to become a woman, killed someone in a car accident, ran them over, killed them, and was named Woman of the Year 4 months later. Like, you're sitting there, you worry about all this stuff you're going to do. If you can let go of this necessity to worry about what other people think, that's the second thing I would tell you. The third thing is the recognition of the fact that it's all going to end. For like me and Elon Musk, no matter how rich he is, we're going to end up in the same place in 100 years. We're going to both be just as dead as the other one is. Okay. What did Elon Musk say? I want to die. He goes, I would love to die on Mars, just not on impact. It's like that. We're both going to end up in the same place. And then the last one is present moment awareness. So it's the concept of just like recognizing that your brain, what it wants to do is interpret the past and predict the future, which all causes suffering for you. The complete and total acceptance and lack of resistance to the present moment is one of the best ways to protect your mental health. That's what it is. These are 4 great things that I found. And I don't hear them a lot. Well, the gratitude thing I do hear other people talk about, but those are the things that really help me that I talk to with my clients, especially when it comes to their mental health. The gratitude one is like the biggest one. Like, just you realize that half the Earth's population lives on $1 a day. Look at the people who have to live in Haiti, the people who don't have clean water in certain parts of Africa. And you're complaining, bro. You have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Incredible people illegal immigrants who come across and raise children and they're happy as shit. And you're just sitting there sad because you live because your neighbor has a newer car than you. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's almost a choice. Almost. Yeah.
So it's a choice to have gratitude, present moment awareness. It's a choice to recognize that it's all going to end for you, and it's a choice to recognize that nobody cares what you're doing. Yeah. You think about the most famous person in the world today, whoever it is. You want to say it's The Rock or Obama or whoever, Donald Trump, whoever the most famous person in the world is. How did that person affect your life today? And you're like, oh, they didn't. Lionel Messi didn't affect your life today? Really? They're the most famous person in the world and they didn't affect your life. You're not that famous. How do you think you think anyone gives a shit that you posted a meme today? Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you did go to the gym. And here's the bad part. Nobody cares that you didn't go to the gym either. Nobody cares. No one's there to save you. So when I come to that realization, and it just creates total and complete liberty for me, freedom to know that I can do whatever I want. And instead of worrying about the fact that nobody cares, it's more like I'm free, because instead of oh, nobody cares, wah, 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 it's like nobody cares. I'm free. I'm free. You know what I'm saying?
Powerful.
It's very powerful. Like the day you get out of prison, just imagine you've been in prison for 10 years. The day you get out, you don't care what the prison guards think anymore. You don't. You're free. You're free. When you stop caring what they think and when you're completely outside of their bounds, you're free. They don't have power over you anymore. And so that's kind of the thing. You get that freedom from choosing what you talk about. That's why I like the subtle art of not giving a fuck by Mark Manson. He talks about that. You get to choose what you what you care about. So when you do that, I think that's probably the key to mental health. It is
Wow.
not for everyone. Some people significantly. I know Andrew. I'm friends with him, whatever, but like I don't particularly agree with the idea that there's no such thing as depression. No, there is depression, but a lot of people who think they're suffering from depression just need to accomplish some goals, and then all of a sudden they won't be depressed anymore. A lot of times, if you just go and accomplish goals with other people, the depression will work. There are some people who legitimately are suffering from bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, schizophrenic, schizotypal. There's legitimate mental disorders that people have that they need medication and treatment for, but there's a lot of people out there that really, if you just accomplish some goals, you notice that your mental health will be much, much better.
Wow.